Hey, welcome to Steph's World, the world according to Steph, chapter, I'm going to say 17. I know I think I did one in between that, but for some reason, I couldn't get it to upload. And I'm kind of glad, because I don't feel it was one that I wanted to share, that I'm ready to share with people. I'm just not ready. And I don't know if other people could handle it. It was a little on the deep side, okay? And I'm not putting anybody down. When I say deep, I mean out there. Okay. I'm using my other iPad today. Yes, I have two iPads. I've been having trouble with the other one, so I thought I'd give this one a try and see how it works, okay? But I want to talk about some things that are personal, but I have always talked about my personal life. I have not kept anything from anybody. I have opened up and told people things about my own life. I can't talk to you about other people's lives. It has to be mine, and only mine. Now, I am going to talk about my children and my grandchildren, but not in a negative way. At least I don't want anyone to take it negatively, okay? If I can handle it, then you all need to just accept it and take it as a story, okay? My son died 3 years ago. And you bet I still cry about it. You bet I do. And when my son died, I have two other children, and one of them, I did a video about that. When he was 8 months old, things were just, my world was just going downhill. And I was 20 years old, and I couldn't afford to raise my child, literally. It wasn't that I wasn't a good mother, because I think I was a good mother. It was that I literally could not afford. I was working 2 jobs and just couldn't do it. And I wasn't getting any help. Even though, and I'm not going to thoroughly blame, I was promised help, but that help didn't come. So I tried to do it. I tried hard. The last thing I wanted to do was to let go of my little boy. Well, when I did, it was a roller coaster ride till my next child arrived. It was a horrible roller coaster ride, let me tell ya. I frankly did not care about me, about my life, about anything anymore. I just did not care. Because letting go of my little boy, my beautiful little boy, was like him dying on me. That's what it felt like. And, you know, then I would think things like, and if he did die, how would I know? You know, things like that. I thought that his whole growing up years, I thought those things. I really did. All the time. But I never talked about it to anyone. Well, I mean, what was the point, you know? I had 2 other children with my husband, who I married a few years later. And, I mean, he went through the horrible times with me. I'll give him credit for that because he did. Now, in fact, he even apologized to me recently because he felt like one of the reasons that I gave my child up was partially because of him, that he had talked me into it, but he hadn't. It wasn't him. You know, sometimes we have to do things that are meant to be done. When I first had my oldest son, or I was pregnant with him, I had already chosen to give him up. But when I gave birth to him, oh boy, that was it. I mean, they forgot that I was going to give my child up, and they brought him in with all the other gals that I was in the room with, and they all had their babies, and they brought mine in too, and it was like, that was it. I couldn't give him up, and I knew that. And then he got sick, really sick, and he had to go over to the children's clinic. And I went there every single day to be with him. But anyway, so getting on with this, like I said, I talked about this before. Watch that video. It's only a couple of videos ago. If you haven't seen it, watch it, please. It's hard for me to talk about it, even today. Now, the one good thing that came out of it, at least for a while, was that he came back into our lives. My other children were teenagers. My daughter was like 12, 13 years old. Matt was about 15, 16. So they were Matt was a teenager. Rachel was jumping into that teenage life. And they were they were excited about finding out they had a brother, okay? They were a little mad at me because I didn't tell them, but I was planning on telling them. I just did not realize that my son would want to find me and had the ability to do that so early. I had no idea he would do that, but he did. And there were a lot of reasons for it, but I'm not getting into that today. I want to talk about my daughter and me. The one thing I am going to say about him was that for 20 years, he has been mostly in our lives. That's why when my son Matt passed away, on the obituary, it has Brian listed as a half-brother. So, you know, he was in our family. He wasn't in our family like he would have been had I never given him up, but he was in our family. Absolutely. So anyway, after Matt passed away, Rachel and I had problems before Matt passed away. It's kind of sad that my only daughter and I had so many problems. And on top of that, she's the one who had my grandchildren. I was there for the birth of every one of my granddaughters. I was with my daughter. through the birth of, or the delivery of every one of those children. Each one of those girls. I was there. Now, the other grandmother came too, but she usually didn't come until Rachel was just ready to pop her out. But anyway, I felt very close to my granddaughters in the beginning. I really did. And Rachel was living with me for a while because I had severe back trouble, and they were going to operate on my lower spine, and it was a very serious operation. And so I needed somebody to be there to help me. And Rachel, we had an agreement that she would do it, and that I had a condo, and it was big enough. It had a mother-in-law's quarters, so it was big enough for her and her husband and my granddaughter to stay. Now, in the beginning, before I even had the surgery, I couldn't drive anymore. My legs were not working any longer. I was probably at the point I'm at today, only I think today I'm a little worse. I could barely walk. I could barely do much of anything. So Rachel was there, and she would drive me to the places that I absolutely had to be driven to. And then, I had a nice, comfortable car for all of us. I bought a very nice car to make sure that everybody was comfortable. Okay, so the operation happened, and I literally was bedridden until my ex-husband came, and he got me out of the bed and assisted me. I should have had a wheelchair because I couldn't walk. And for about the first 2 months, it was no walking Steph time. But he was there every day. And he fixed my dinner, and we made jokes, and he would try to cheer me up, and we'd be happy about it because, well, I was in a back brace and everything, and that became part of my body for the next 6 months, I can tell you that. Well, anyway, after a while, I got better, and I could start working from home. And I was a computer programmer, so it really was not an issue for me to work from home. That was in 1998. They were just starting to let us do that, okay? I was like one of the first, at least where I worked. And where I worked, they didn't like letting you do that. But, there was no reason why I couldn't. I had everything set up at home. So anyway, so I was working from home, and Rachel was spending a lot of time with the other part of the family, her in-laws. And, I didn't mind that so much. Okay, I had her she lived at my house, so that was fine. But it started to get a little out of control. I'd be the last one to see everybody at Christmas, and, it would be after Christmas was over before she spent Christmas with us, and she lived with us. And my parents would wait, and we'd all wait until Rachel told us that it was okay. So our life with my daughter and my granddaughters never was very good. Frankly, it never was very good. And I tried everything I could think of to try to make it better. I even bought books to help me know what to do. You know, it was just terrible. It was insane. So anyway, I had a brain aneurysm. And prior to that brain aneurysm, I had been just going to town. And I don't believe that that's what caused it, believe me. I think it was destined to happen. I had a great uncle or something like that on my dad's side that died from an aneurysm right around the same age I was. So it probably ran in the family. Only for some reason, I lived. And it was a pretty serious one. I had no idea how serious it was until long after they did the surgery, long after I went through the nightmare that I went through for about 2 weeks after the surgery was done, and it was a nightmare. Now, up until then, I had my 2 car accidents because I had an aneurysm and didn't know it. Up until then, Rachel needed my help to help with the girls. So 3 times a week, I would pick them up from school, 2 of them up from school, take the other one from my daughter's school bus that she drove, and did a whole bunch of stuff, took them here, took them there, you know, just really went overboard. And I was disabled. Doing that was so difficult on my body, it was unbelievable. By the weekend, I was out. I was not capable of functioning. I had overdone it. Rachel couldn't understand that. She never could understand that. And there wasn't anything I could do about it. I tried to talk to her about it, but she had a mother-in-law. And now, I'm not going to say for sure, but I got the impression that her mother-in-law was insinuating that I was making most of this up. And I thought, well, they don't do these kind of surgeries. I had 4 spinal surgeries. They don't do all these surgeries for no reason. In fact, they don't want to do them. And you don't have a brain aneurysm. How can you say you made up a brain aneurysm? Come on. Give me a break. Well, after I had the aneurysm, everything changed. I could no longer have my grandchildren at my house. Go figure. It was almost like they were convinced I was going to have another one. Well, I didn't. And the doctors, I was seeing a doctor regularly, so you know, they were trying to keep track of everything, and I was having a horrible test done that I absolutely hated. Well, I'm down here now, and they don't do anything to keep track of my aneurysm. They don't care down here. So down here, there's more of a chance for me to suddenly be gone than anywhere else. Now, I've come to grips with that. I figure When it's my time, it's my time. I really have. And it's not because my son died. It has nothing to do with that. You know what it has to do with? Faith. Absolute and total faith. I believe in something after death. I believe in it wholeheartedly. And I have my reasons for it. You know, I'm one of these people, I used to be a scientist, and I was one of these people that you had to prove that kind of stuff to me, okay? Well, it got proven to me, I can tell you that. But anyway, the point is that everything changed in my life. My level of faith is sky high. And, you know, I feel that when my time comes, it's my time. Now, I have tried to get in to see the right kind of doctors, but I can't get in. Nobody here will pay any attention to me, except for my pain management doctor, and that's it. And he knows how bad I am. He knows. And he's always wanting to try, you know, Stephanie, should I try to get a hold of this doctor or that doctor? He's from Scotland and he's so cute. And I say, no, just don't even worry about it, Doc. I'm just going to live with this, you know? Just let it go. So he has. And all we focus on is what his job is. Now, I will say this. I live 2 hours away from the Mayo Clinic. Just 2 hours. So I figure if I need to go there, I will go there. I will find a way to go there. Now, yesterday, well, before I go into that, I'm going to try to make this quick. A little over a year ago, I took Rachel on a special trip. It was supposed to be my treat to her and our getting over Matt, helping us to get over Matt a little bit, to live a little bit of life and live it together, to enjoy something together. No matter how bad I am, I was going to do this. And I did it. And the things that I wanted to do during the time that we were there, we didn't do any of it. There was no talking. There was no... You know, when I did try to talk to her, the next thing I know, we're in a fight. So I decided, well, I don't want that. That's not what I paid for, you know. I paid for us to have fun. So anyway, she went back home. And I bought my granddaughters lots of gifts, and, you know, I was generous. I wanted, since they had to miss out on the trip, I wanted to make it up to them. But anyway, I talked to Rachel about my granddaughters and her maybe coming up here the following October, which was my 60th birthday, by the way. And it really wasn't for that reason. That thought came in later when I remembered, hey, I'm turning 60 this year, okay? So I thought, well, that would be a great time and a great reason for them to come. So she kept telling me that they were going to do it, and I was real happy about it. So then I wasn't hearing too much about it, and that's a little, hey, uh-oh, something going on here. So I texted her, and I was going to pay for the plane trip. And I texted her and I said, look, if I pay for it early, um, it'll be a lot cheaper. And plus, I had to text her. She wouldn't answer her phone. She wouldn't talk to me on the phone. And that was my little tip off too, that, uh-oh, something's going on. So I get this text back and it said, well, something's come up. And I thought, oh gee, what a surprise. But I didn't say that to her. That's just what ran through my mind. And I said, well, does this mean that you're not coming? And the next thing I know, I get this really tough, mean text from her. And she says, cool it. I never said we weren't coming. And it was, there were caps in there, whole capital words, like she was yelling at me. And it was like, wow, I'm your mother. Did you forget that? How old are you? Well, I can tell you how old she was. She was 34. And she was behaving like that. And my granddaughters are teenagers. Well, my youngest one will turn into a teenager this year, in a few months. Well, anyway, I had a conversation with her finally, and I recorded it. And I had one of my family members listen to it. I wanted their opinion on it. And when they heard it, they said, Steph, stop helping your daughter right now. Because I would help her whenever she needed it. I came from a family where they didn't help us at all. So I kind of went overboard and went the opposite with my children. And I really did. Okay? I really did. And I'm sorry I did, but that's the way it goes. Now I've learned my lesson. Okay, so next thing I know, my daughter's not speaking to me, and she's telling me that I'm the problem. I'm always the problem. And I said, okay, but don't do this to my granddaughters. They have a right to be able to talk to their grandmother. Don't take my granddaughters away from me, please. Well, yesterday, I don't hear from them hardly ever, but yesterday my granddaughters, 2 of them called me. And the oldest one, who knows where she's at, whether she's angry at me, doing the Rachel thing, or because something else happened. And Rachel pulled her into it too, and I thought, oh my God, not my granddaughter. But anyway, such is life. Hey, how many of you guys have perfect relationships with your daughters and your granddaughters, huh? How many women out there? Don't tell me all of you have wonderful relationships, because I don't believe you. But here's what I will tell you. I love my daughter more than anything in this world. I love my granddaughters. And I will back down. I will do anything I can to give myself a relationship with her. Although I will not totally back down. I will defend myself if I am accused of something that I did not do. Trust me, today I will not let her do that to me. I used to do that. Let her accuse me of things that I never did. Not anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. So, yesterday when I talked to the girls, let me tell you how I felt. I don't even know these girls. I have not spent hardly any time with my granddaughters, and I don't know them. I didn't know what to say to them. I didn't know how to have a conversation with them. They didn't know what to say to me. And they never asked Grandma, how does Grandma feel? It's like they're totally unaware that their grandmother is, decrepit, basically. And they never, ever, ever ask, how do you feel, Grandma? Never. So that tells you something right there. So anyway, I guess my point is this. I'm praying about it. You bet I am. Because I hate the idea of leaving this world with absolutely no relationship with the people who I should be the closest to. I should be the closest to my granddaughters and my daughter. And I'm not. Not at all. So I'm doing a lot of praying about that. And as far as why Rachel isn't talking to me, I'm at a total, that's a mystery. I have no idea. But I think one thing that has surprised her a bit is that I'm not calling her, and I'm not making a big deal out of it, and I'm not responding or reacting to this behavior. And I'm not going to. I will not do that. She will be an adult with me, or we won't just have anything. I mean, it's up to her. It's in her hands now. It has been in her hands. I'm not the one that said, I don't think I can speak to you. She was the one who told me that. So, I got over it, and I'm fine. And I have a great life. In fact, I talked to my sister the other day, and I said, I don't think I've ever been happier. And that's the truth. The only problem is, I do wish that my granddaughters and my daughter could share in my happiness, and that we could all be happy together. That I miss. Okay, reading time. Bet you thought that wasn't going to happen, huh? Oh no, we're doing it. Okay, now one thing that I have to do is, it's called a full surrender. Okay? This helps me deal with the lack of love that I feel from my child. It helps me tremendously. Meditate and pray. Those are number one. Meditate and pray. Number 2, work at helping others. Work at helping others in whatever way that comes to. However I can do that, do it. And then do a gratitude list. Do a gratitude list. Be grateful for whatever I have. And then, I wanted to read this to you. Now, I've read this before, but I'm going to do it again. There's a book out there. I have it right out there. It's by Clarice Parisa, something like that. It's called Women Who Run with the Wolves. And of course, that was for me. That was kind of a wild thing. So, you know, I thought, yeah, this is the right book for me. And oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. It was one of the hardest books I've ever read in my life. It really was. Okay, now, she's going to have to wait. First of all, she says, aloneness in the oldest sense of the word. Okay? This is aloneness in the oldest sense of the word. Long ago, the word alone was treated as 2 words, all one. To be all one meant to be wholly one. Not holy, but altogether one. Okay? To be in oneness, either essentially or temporarily. That is precisely the goal of solitude, to be all one. See? Now, this is the positive side and presents a whole different perspective to the word alone. Okay, and this one's very important. Renewal, reborn, cannot occur without aloneness and solitude. It cannot occur without it. Not at all. And you know, I can speak to that. I really can. Honest to goodness, I can. Alright. Now, book time. Alright, let's see what we got here. Now, remember, if you watched the last one, which I suggest that you do, if you haven't, because I've been reading these, and they're very important. They come from Jesus Christ, the Beatitudes, but this is Emmett Fox's interpretation of them, and it's an excellent interpretation, believe me. It woke me up. Okay. Now, in the Beatitude that we're working with, it's it's called "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Okay. Now, in this, he says we notice that there are 2 polar words in the text: meek and earth. Polar words. They are both used in a special and highly technical sense, and they have to be unveiled before the wonderful meaning that underlies them can be found. First of all, the word earth in the Bible does not mean merely this terrestrial globe. It really means manifestation. Manifestation or expression is a result of a cause. A cause has to be expressed or manifested before we know anything about it, and contrariwise, every expression or manifestation has to have a cause. Now, you learn in divine metaphysics, and particularly in Sermon on the Mount, that all causation is mental, and that your body and all your affairs, your home, your business, and all your experience are but the manifestation of your own mental states. The fact that you're quite unconscious of most of your mental states does not signify, because they are there, nevertheless, in your subconscious mind, notwithstanding the fact that you have now forgotten them or were never aware of them at all. I know you don't understand what that just said. In your unconscious mind, that's almost working independently of your conscious mind. Okay? We're going to get into this. Now, in other words, your earth means the whole of your outer experience. And to inherit the earth means to have dominion over that outer experience. That is to say, to have power to bring your conditions of life into harmony and true success. All the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. His soul shall dwell as at ease, and his seed, prayers, shall inherit the earth. That is a beautiful statement. Absolutely gorgeous, wonderful statement. To bring your conditions of life into harmony and true success. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. The Lord reigneth, let the earth rejoice. So we see that when the Bible talks about the earth, possessing the earth, governing the earth, making the earth glorious, and so forth, it is referring to the conditions of our lives from the bodily health outwards to the farthest points in our affairs. So this text undertakes to tell us how we may possess or govern to be masters of our own lives and destinies. Now, this gets into quite a bit, okay? So we're going to stop there. How to govern and to be masters of our own lives and destinies. And then he'll tell us, now let's see how it is to be done. And then we'll go on the next one. How's that sound? Okay? It's a good one. This is really good. Okay. I love all of you. I really do. If I say things online on Google Plus that don't sound right, please forgive me. Please. Lately, I've not really all been here. I'll be honest with you. I hope this isn't the time, but, I'm just not feeling very well. I appreciate all of you, and I love you. I want to write this big blog so badly. I have got to start working on it, Okay? So maybe this weekend I can really get going. I love you. Have a great day.